a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. David Haye. David Deron Haye is a British former professional boxer who competed from 2002 to 2018. He held multiple world championships in 2 weight classes, and was the first British boxer to reach the final of the World Amateur Boxing Championships, where he won a silver medal in 2001. As a professional, Haye became a unified cruiserweight world champion in 2008, winning 3 of the 4 major world titles, as well as the Ring Magazine and Lineal titles. In the same year he moved up to heavyweight, winning the WBA title in 2009 after defeating Nikolai Valuev, who had a size advantage of 9 in height and 99 pounds in weight over Haye. Along with Evander Holyfield, Haye is one of only 2 boxers in history to have unified the cruiserweight world titles and become a world heavyweight champion. In 2008, Haye founded his own boxing promotional firm, Hayemaker Promotions. Early life and education. Haye grew up among the townhouses of the Peabody Estate, near the famous Tate Modern Gallery and around the corner from the South Bank tourist attraction, Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. Haye went to school at Bacon's College. His college principal Tony Perry remembers Haye as a very athletic, very smart young man. Haye started his ambition and passion for boxing at old school boxing gym Fitzroy Lodge Boxing Club in Lambeth, South London, where he quickly impressed and confidently won his first amateur bouts. Mick Carney, who ran the gym where David began training from 10 years old, said of Haye, "He could whack as a kid. I think he chinned about 3 kids. But that made it really hard to get him matches. When you've got 3 first-round knockouts on your card, everybody runs for the hills." Of his upbringing, he described Haye as a lovely kid. He comes from a beautiful, loving family. He wasn't on the streets. He went to school, came to the gym, went home. His family bestowed love and affection on him. Bermondsey might have been bad, but he, his brother and his sister were nice people from a nice family. Amateur career. At the age of 18, Haye competed in the light heavyweight division at the 1999 World Amateur Boxing Championships in Houston, Texas. He knocked out then ABA light heavyweight champion Courtney Fry, but missed out on the 2000 Sydney Olympics after a controversial defeat in the qualifier in which he was eliminated by experienced American Michael Sims early in the contest. At the 2001 World Championships in Belfast, Haye fought in the heavyweight division, where he defeated Sebastian Kober to reach the final. In this bout he managed to score a standing 8 count against Odlanier Solis, but was later stopped by the Cuban in round 3 to earn a silver medal. Haye's amateur record was 83-13. Early career at cruiserweight. Based in Bermondsey, Haye turned professional in December 2002, aged 22. In his first fight he defeated by way of knockout Hull-based Tony Booth. In 2003 he won fights, 2 of which were the only fights he has fought in the United States. He won all by knockouts, the most notable being a 4th-round KO of Lelengamok, in which Haye had to come off the floor to win. Haye's fights were regularly seen on the BBC and his popularity began to grow in 2004, when he dispatched the 39-year-old ex-world champion, King Arthur Williams in 3 rounds. Haye vs Thompson. Later that year, in his 11th pro fight, he fought 40-year-old former WBO champion Carl Thompson in a youth versus experience matchup. Haye started fast and alarmingly caught Thompson with constant barrages of power punches, coming close to forcing a stoppage at numerous points over the first few rounds. Gradually, despite the early punishment he received, Thompson warmed up and worked his way into the fight whilst Haye seemed to tire and slow down. Thompson began to pressure Haye and knocked Haye down with a chopping right hand in round 5. With 7 seconds left in the round, Thompson landed 2 jabs followed by a flush right hand which cleanly caught a fatigued Haye and compelled Haye's corner to throw in the towel. Haye was leading on all 3 scorecards before the stoppage. European champion. Haye returned against Estonian Valery Semishko, winning by TKO in round 1, then defeated Gary Delaney by a 3rd-round TKO. Following 2 more fights against Glenn Kelly and Vincenzo Rossito, Haye faced Alexander Gorev for the IBU Cruiserweight Championship. Haye easily knocked out Gorev with a single right hand in just 45 seconds. Haye vs Fragomeni. In January 2006, Haye signed a 3-year contract with former Lennox Lewis promoter Frank Maloney to further his world title ambitions. He successfully defended his debut title against Ismail Abdul in a lopsided 12-round decision. He defeated Giacomo Fragomeni, when he dramatically broke through the Italian's defenses in the 9th round, finally flooring his man in a flurry of punches. Haye had waited 7 years for the opportunity to defeat Fragomeni, who controversially outpointed him as an amateur in the final qualifying tournament for the Sydney Games. Haye's cameo at heavyweight in April 2007 resulted in an impressive first-round KO win over Polish fighter Tomasz Bonin, who at the time was ranked number 9 by the WBC and had only one loss, against Audley Harrison. Haye admitted he was taking a crazy step up when he fought world-ranked heavyweight Bonin at Wembley Arena. Haye said in a post-fight interview, "If you asked me when I was 3 years old, I'd say I'm going to be the heavyweight champion of world. I never said cruiserweight. It's what I wanted to do since I can remember. I always wanted to be the main man in boxing. I want everyone to recognize I can beat every other boxer in the world. That's why I'm fighting the guy I'm fighting. I really want to prove to everyone I am the man." Haye vs Mormeck. Haye challenged Jean-Marc Mormeck on the 10th of November 2007 for the WBA, WBC, the Ring and Lineal Cruiserweight titles. During the bout, Haye unleashed a frightening combination made up of a right uppercut, left, then right hook to floor Mormeck. The technical knockout was all the more remarkable after Haye was put on the canvas in the 4th round. The win meant Haye became Britain's 6th world champion. "I worked my way back into the fight and showed great heart. 17 weeks of hard work have paid off." Haye defeated Mormeck by knockout in the 7th round. The victory confirmed Haye's arrival as a genuine world-class fighter. At this point, Haye made his initial mark on history as Britain's first 2-belt cruiserweight champion. The Mormeck fight was expected to be Haye's last fight in the cruiserweight division. However, Haye would be tempted into a unification cruiserweight bout for the most lucrative fight of his career. Haye vs Maccarinelli. Haye and Enzo Maccarinelli met in an all-British World Cruiserweight title fight in the early hours of the 9th of March 2008 at O2 Arena in London. Haye's WBA, WBC, and the Ring titles were at stake, while Maccarinelli's WBO title was on the line. British trade paper Boxing News produced a pull-out special on the match, which was widely billed as the biggest all-British bout since Chris Eubank met Nigel Benn. As both fighters are hard punchers with excellent KO records, a short fight was predicted. These predictions proved to be correct, as Haye knocked out Maccarinelli in the 2nd round of the contest. Commenting on the fight and of the prospect of working again with Frank Warren, Maccarinelli's promoter, Haye said, "We thank Frank for sacrificing Maccarinelli, but we'd feel immense guilt if we took any more free money from Sports Network. I have a hard enough time sleeping at night as it is." Heavyweight. Haye described the victory over Maccarinelli as the final piece in his cruiserweight jigsaw. Haye then defeated heavyweight Monty Barrett at the O2 Arena in London on the 15th of November 2008, winning via TKO in the 5th round. WBC heavyweight champion Vitaly Klitschko confirmed he would defend his title in a fight with Haye to take place on the 20th of June 2009 at Stamford Bridge in London. Instead, his younger brother, WBO, EBO and IBF champion Vladimir Klitschko agreed to fight Haye the same date in Gelsenkirchen, Germany. Haye pulled out of the fight with a back injury. Haye vs Valuev. Haye then confirmed that he would meet the WBA champion Nikolai Valuev on the 7th of November 2009 in the Nuremberg Arena, Nuremberg, Germany. Haye's former trainer Adam Booth claimed it was a fight that Valuev wanted. It was billed as David and Goliath. Haye weighed in at 217 pounds, almost 100 pounds less than his opponent. Haye said about Valuev, "He is the ugliest thing I have ever seen. I have watched Lord of the Rings and films with strange-looking people, but for a human being to look like he does is pretty shocking." Haye beat Valuev in a reserved display of accuracy and efficiency, countering Valuev's misses, jabbing and circling his much larger opponent. Haye came close to knocking out Valuev in the final round with a hard left hand, which made Valuev stumble. Haye won a majority decision with scores of 114-114, 116-112, and 116-112. Haye is the first and currently only boxer in the history of the sport to be 7 stone or more lighter than an opponent in a world title fight and still come out victorious. The fight garnered 469,000 buys on Sky Sports box office. Haye vs Ruiz. On the 26th of January 2010, former WBA champion John Ruiz was announced as Haye's first title defense on the 3rd of April at the MEN Arena in Manchester live on Sky box office. Ruiz, ranked as the #1 contender by the WBA, was initially in line to fight Valuev, however agreed to step aside. Ruiz was unhappy at the fight being staged in the UK and not Las Vegas, as he thought it would be. Ruiz did not show up at the official press conference. Haye defeated Ruiz in his first WBA title defense by TKO in the 9th round after knocking Ruiz down 4 times during the fight. This was only the second time Ruiz has been stopped, after being knocked out in round 1 by David Tua 14 years prior to facing Haye. After the fight, Haye immediately called on both Klitschko brothers, after claiming their recent challengers Eddie Chambers and Chris Arreola were a disgrace to boxing. Haye vs Harrison. It was confirmed on the 7th of September 2010 that Haye would fight Audley Harrison on the 13th of November 2010 at the Manchester Arena. The press conference for the bout became heated, leading to the two fighters swearing at each other on live television. On the 13th of November 2010, Haye defeated Harrison with 1 minute, 7 seconds remaining of the 3rd round by TKO. Southpaw Harrison landed 1 punch during the entire fight, out of 32 thrown. He staggered to his feet after being knocked down, only for Haye to immediately pounce right back on him, hitting him with another flurry of punches. The referee intervened and ended the bout. The fight was bought by 223,000 households in the UK on Sky box office. Haye's plans to unify the heavyweight division took a major setback in January 2011, when it was revealed that Thomas Adamek would fight one of the Klitschko brothers in September 2011, before his planned retirement in October of that year. However, in April 2011, it was announced that Haye and Vladimir Klitschko had agreed to meet at the Hayemaker Arena in Hamburg on the 2nd of July 2011. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?